Let's break it down. I'm Imran, a Middle East-based analyst, and as we step into 2026, there's a big debate happening quietly in boardrooms and capitals. In a world that feels more fragmented, is China becoming the predictable power that others plan around? A Chinese state-linked editorial this week makes the argument directly: the world can keep placing expectations on China in 2026. Not because everything is perfect, but because China is offering something many countries feel is in short supply right now: continuity. Here's what that actually means in practice. First, planning. China just set the runway for its 15th five-year plan period, covering 2026 to 2030. Whether you agree with the model or not, that system signals direction, where industry policy is going, what sectors get priority, and how the state will mobilize capital. For global businesses, predictable rules can be more valuable than friendly speeches. Second, economics. Beijing is clearly preparing to lean more proactive on fiscal policy in 2026 and keep investment flowing into strategic infrastructure, supply chains, and tech upgrading. That's not just domestic policy. It ripples out through commodity demand, manufacturing orders, and trade flows across Asia, the Gulf, Africa, and beyond. Third, technology. China doesn't want to be seen as only a manufacturing giant. It wants to be an innovation platform. The editorial points to a wave of Chinese large language models, including open-weight releases that drew global attention, as an example of China trying to shape standards and ecosystems, not just copy them. And fourth, diplomacy and image. China is pushing stability as a brand: more partnerships, more trade, more connectivity, and a message that it will keep showing up even when the global mood swings. But here's the part that matters for you as a viewer. Expectations cut both ways. If the world starts relying on China as an anchor, then any shock inside China becomes a global shock. Property stress, local debt, weak consumer confidence, or sudden trade escalation, those aren't just Chinese headlines, they become supply chain headlines and currency headlines. And geopolitics is the wild card. The US-China competition isn't slowing. If 2026 becomes a year of tighter tech controls, more tariffs, or pressure in hotspots like Taiwan and the South China Sea, then predictability can quickly turn into pressure for countries caught in the middle. So here are three signals I'm watching in 2026. 1. Does China manage to lift domestic demand without reigniting risky debt bubbles? 2. Do Chinese tech and AI exports expand or get boxed in by restrictions? And 3. Do we see more countries hedging, doing deeper trade with China while still relying on US security umbrellas? So the real question for 2026 is not, will China rise? That's old news. The real question is, can China project stability while the system around it gets noisier? And can the rest of the world benefit from China's growth without getting trapped in the strategic tug-of-war? If you want more videos that cut through the hype and map the real power shifts of 2026, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments, do you see China as a stabilizer or as a new source of global risk?